depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at the hop cards from Battle Partners. And I'm telling you for nothing right now, hop looks busted. The hop cards look really good. I'm not a big fan of hop. I'm not sure anyone is a big fan of hop. But we saw the hop found their way onto the booster pack, and now it looks a lot like there might be a very good reason why hop cards look busted. Seriously, it's getting a bit silly. Now, the main card we got here, the signature card, because they all have a signature EX, is obviously Zacian, because Zacian is right there, right in the middle of the booster pack, so we're expecting it to be good. Is it good? Well, we've got 230 HP, which is nice. We've got single energy, 30 damage, plus 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, which is actually really good. This is literally just Landorus EX's attack. Now, for what it's worth, Landorus was when HP were a bit lower, so the 30-30 was better. And also, at the time, weakness to fighting was a very, very, very big deal. So, Landorus in its meta was a lot more impactful than this. And I'm not pretending this is on the level of Landorus on its own, but I'm just going to tell you right now, there are a bunch of supporting cards we've got for Hop, which means this is not 30-30, and to be fair, neither was Landorus back in the day. And that is going to help massively. We've then got 4 energy, 240, and during your next turn, the Pokemon cannot use this attack, although they can use their first attack. This isn't a you can't attack at all deal, this is a you cannot use this attack next turn. Don't worry about it, it's going to be fine. And I think this could be good. I think the second attack looks a bit rubbish on the face of it, but firstly, we got some options we're going to look at in a minute. Secondly, in terms of energy acceleration, we've still got stuff like Metang, for instance. So this isn't like some other typings where we're going to be really struggling to find the extra energy. We can find the energy here with Metang. Metang's got our back. The thing is, this card looks pretty good on the face of it right now, especially the first attack. And, we're still talking about a basic Pokemon with 230 HP. But really here, we need to look at the support cards Hopper's got, because that's what tells the story here. Starting off with Snorlax. You see, Snorlax has a decent little attack for free energy that does 140 damage, and it does 80 to itself, which is a little bit annoying. You're left with 70 HP remaining. Snorlax is going to all but KO itself, which is obviously not ideal. We're not loving this, but it's actually a really nice attack doing 140 free colorless energy on a basic Pokemon. It's very techable. I think it's going to be okay. But then we've got the ability. And the ability says that if this Pokemon is in play, doesn't have to be active, just has to be on the field anywhere, all of your attacks from Hop's Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active. And it does have that wording again whereby this ability does not stack. By the way, I did all the translations for this myself, and I'm very proud of that. I did check with Yoshi TCG over on Twitter, but I did do them all myself, and that's very important to me. So obviously it doesn't stack. It's a basic Pokemon. It would be broken if it stacked, but it does an extra 30 damage. So now all of a sudden, we go back and have a look at that Zacian, and that Zacian is 60 to the active, 30 to one of your opponent's bench, which is quite a bit better. Although, just to be clear, we are not done yet. Cannot stress that enough. So, Snorlax is brilliant. The attack is fantastic. No, it doesn't stack, but it is all of your Hops Pokemon, not all of your other Hops Pokemon. So this attack on Snorlax isn't actually 140, it's 170, unless your opponent is turning off Snorlax's ability. Okay, that's pretty good. But it goes further, because we've got ourselves a stadium here, And this stadium looks quite good. We've got Postwick Town, and it's Snorlax's ability. Both players, Hop's Pokemon, do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, it's not actually Snorlax's ability, because Snorlax only affects you, this affects both sides, but functionally this is the same thing. And it's phenomenal, because now your Snorlax isn't doing 140, your Snorlax is doing 200. Your Zacian is not doing 30 to the active, it's doing 90 to the active, 30 to the bench. And oh yeah, we are not done yet. There's a new tool which is literally called Hop's Specific Headband, which Yoshi TCG is translated as Hop's Favourite Headband, could be Hop's Headband, something along those lines, alright? Literally Hop's Specific Headband, but, you know, it's something along those lines, alright? But it does the same thing again. It says that the attacks of the Pokemon, the Hop Pokemon, this card is attached to, do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, and oh yeah, they also cost 1 colourless energy less. We are done now, incidentally, in terms of supporting cards for Hop's cards. So, if you combine Snorlax and Hop's Headband and Postwick Town, we're talking about plus 90, and you take away 1 energy. So all of a sudden, the first attack of Zacian is 120 to the active, 30 to the bench, for 0 energy. The second attack is free metal energy, 330. There are a couple of 340 HP Pokemon out there, but there aren't that many. They are the only ones that can take this hit from Zacian. And remember, we've got Metang to accelerate the metal energy if we need it. All of a sudden, Snorlax isn't 140 for free energy, it's 230 for 2 energy. That's very, very, very different. The support cards for Hop get nuts. And I don't want to hear any of this, well, yeah, but you've got to have a stadium and a tool and a basic Pokemon. Mate, it's not that hard. Also, and I'm not saying it is going to be the choice, but I'm saying it's an option, Secret Box. I'm saying I look at this and I'm like, you know what? I actually really quite like Secret Box here. I think Secret Box could be a really good A-spec for this particular deck, because it just gets everything you need. You do have to discard 3 cards from your hand, but it gets a tool, item, supporter, and stadium. So it gets your tool, it gets your stadium, and then it gets an item and a supporter as well. Use Arven, search for this, you've got your stadium, you've got your tool, you've got an item to search for the Pokemon you don't have, oh yeah, and a supporter card ready for next turn. This is not a difficult combination to pull off. I expect turn 1 going second, 120 to the active, 30 to the bench with Zacian. That is not going to be an uncommon occurrence. That's absurd. And because you're using the tool, that attachment for the turn can go elsewhere. Or that attachment for the turn can be used to retreat whatever you started with to pop Zacian into the active. See where we're going with this? It's nutty. Hop is fast and hits hard, and that is what we're doing here, and I think it's genuinely brilliant. Does mean the card designers have to be a little bit careful with what they print, but this is going to add up quickly. Hop gets a half-decent start. You'd better get a good start as well, because you haven't evolved yet, and you're being hit for 120 to the active, 30 to the bench, and oh, by the way, you would better never play anything that's weak to metal, because it's 240 if you're hitting for weakness, and that gets a little bit silly quickly. As a side note, Gutted Lily's Clefairy, it's not going to have a good time here, not even a little bit. But there are some other Pokemon we need to look at with Hop, like for instance Dubwool. Now, Dubwool itself, the attack, free energy 80, although again, it can be 2 energy 170, which is very different. I mean, even Wooloo here, they've got to give it a free energy attack for pretty obvious reasons. If you give anything a 2 energy attack as a hot Pokemon, then it can be used turn 1 going second with a plus 90 because of all the extra stuff. So you had to give Wooloo a free energy attack, because this attack can hit 140 damage, but it's 2 energy, not 1. If this was like 2 energy 40, which is not outside the realms of possibility for a evolving basic, well, even if it's 2 energy 30, that's 1 energy 120 on an evolving basic. So you're going to see stuff like this on Hop's Pokemon. But the thing with Dubwool is it's Gusting. When you evolve into it, you get to choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and drag it into the active. And yes, you definitely get the choice. Like I say, I translated these myself. You choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So not only have you got these ridiculously efficient attacks, and again, I'm looking at Zacian here, but now you can be gusting Pokemon off the bench. Not only can you do plus 90 to your attacks and lower energy and all of that, but you've got built-in gusting. And again, Dubwool's attack free energy 80 is not that bad. You put 1 energy on it at any point when you've got a minute, and then you just attach an energy, attach a tool, and it's doing 170 damage. I don't like Hop personally as a character, but I think Hop might be my choice. Like, I've spoken glowingly about En's Pokemon and Lily's Pokemon and Ino's Pokemon. I think Hop might be my choice here. Oh, and we've also got a Cramorant, which firstly looks awesome. Secondly, single energy 120, but it only works if your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. If your opponent doesn't have 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, this attack does nothing. Or this attack fails, technically, is what it says. But the point is, wowza. Because again, it's not really single energy 120. It's could be as good as 0 energy 210. And all you need is a tool, a stadium, and a basic Pokemon. Let's not pretend this is some ridiculous, impossible combination. And unless your opponent can go from 5 prize cards remaining to 2, which is possible, but it's not going to happen that often, then all of a sudden, you get this rolling at some point during the game. Like, you might only get Hop's Cramorant rolling once during the game. Nobody cares. One use of this is more than enough to potentially swing the game. I'm giving this whole Hop suite as a whole 5 Wassies, and I don't think that's even remotely controversial. Between Snorlax and Postwick Town and the Stadium, that's a plus 90 and a minus 1 attack cost. You've got Cramorant that can do, well, 120 to 210 for 0 or 1 energy in the mid-game. You've got built-in gusting with Dubwool, and oh yeah, Zacian's kinda busted. Make no mistake about it, Hop is here and Hop is a player. Oh, I haven't even shown you except for at the beginning when I didn't even mention it. Special illustration rare Hop Zacian, anyone? Illustration by Dom. It looks awesome. Also, Zacian is huge. I'm sure you all realise this, but Zacian is gigantic. I adore this. Also, look out for Hop Zacian being a very expensive card. I think of all the 4 trainers that we've seen so far, the 4 on the front of the booster pack, I think Hop's got the most impressive suite of cards, and I am very excited to play this. There we go. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Good us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Star of Dav, who's been a supporter for a while and is awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.